Hello everyone and welcome to the recap of the first round of the Sinquefield tournament 2017. I think it is the second strongest tournament of the year. I think Norway was stronger, but anyway, it is really a strong tournament. And okay, we have the world champion, Magnus Carlsen, the runner-up, Karyakin, Aronian, Caruana, Wesley. So pretty much almost the entire top 10, very close to that. Mamadero is missing, Kramnik, but incredibly strong tournament. And actually, already today, three decisive games, and okay, it was interesting round. So we will touch a little bit each of the decisive games, and actually the two favorites. For the games, Carlsen, the world champion, and Nakamura. Well, everyone likes to see his games. We're actually not gonna touch their games. They were I think too boring, or nothing too much there, so you can enjoy seeing them yourself. But let's start with Aronian game. And okay, Aronian won today, not today, this year already, two big tournaments ahead of Carlsen. The Norway tournament, which I believe had the top 10 players in the world, just one after the other, if I'm not mistaken. Aronian won it quite convincingly, and he won before that a big tournament ahead of Carlsen, Garnicki in Germany. So breaking 2800 today. Okay, well, it's getting very crowded there in the 2800. So let's see this game. Basically, I think this game, and actually a few of the other games, I think was easy to put the finger on what were the critical moments in the game. Okay, I have this on the computer just next to me, so if sometimes I'm turning my head, it's to look at the analysis that I've already made. All right, so h4. It's quite. There are some normal ideas. If white hasn't castled, he's trying to use the file. In some ways, black can play h6 to meet h5 with g5. This is legal. h5 immediately is also legal. White is thinking sometimes that he can make some use of the g5 square. I think h6 would be a move I like to start looking at. But okay, this is all theory. And bishop a3, this is quite a new move. Nepomniachtchi already had this position, black side against Svidler in 2013, and Svidler played rook b1, and actually a game that's very recent game from 2017, Bauer against Howell. Also, rook b1 is the main move. There aren't so many games, but okay, the main idea. Bishop a3, I couldn't find even one game in the database. I guess the thinking is that, well, after queen a5, there's just going to be some problem with the bishop and so on. Okay, maybe queen b3 is still possible here, but Aronian, always as creative as possible. There are some players that you always know that going to play somewhat the most interesting move on the unexpected and interesting move in the position, and Aronian is probably the leader in this category. Okay, rook h4. This is incredible. Okay, it's not impossible to calculate, but it's like so amazing moving the rook on the fourth rank. I'm always loving so much this idea of using the rooks and defending the bishop on a3. Okay, it's defending because very simply the queen is trapped. Okay, I don't think this is okay. It's an amazingly genius move, but it's a very pretty one. Okay, bishop b7 was played. Now queen b3. Actually, here was a very interesting moment, and that is bishop takes c3, but it's not really working. After rook c1, if bishop b4, okay, now just changing direction with bishop b2, and this is like playing all over the board. the rooks on the rook on h4 can attack on the h file, can attack somewhat on the fourth rank. The bishop on b2, maybe bishop is coming to c4. This is very ugly for black, like just ugly. I mean, there are some ideas there with a3 to trap the bishop. And okay, and if the bishop goes back, I mean, let's say bishop f6. Okay, the very minimum such things are possible. No, so bishop takes c3 also not working. But I think here Nepomniachtchi, I don't want to use the phrase lost the game, but well, I think it's a reasonable way to use it, because he played quite a logical move, but it's just not working here. I mean, I think he just needed to protect the pawn. I mean, rook b8 is possible, something like that. I mean, if I remember correctly, the computer even suggesting knight to d8, but okay, I mean, I think if rook b8 is possible, why not? But castle, it's quite logical, because thinking about, okay, white is going to take on b7, it looks dangerous, the king is in the center, it's just one pawn. Well, that's exactly how Aronian played, and actually this is just really bad position. I mean, it's just a bad position, because queen a6 is such a big idea, defending the bishop and moving the queen when needed. White king is incredibly safe. I mean, those pawns, I mean, are like white king in some of the lines that we will see. White king is safer than black's king, actually. So I think this is just really bad position for black. And okay, we have to blame probably castle, because without castle I would say black is more or less okay, just normal position. So yeah, I wanted to show just some lines here. For example, this was a very cool line. I mean, let's look at two moves here. Okay, knight b4. Okay, you know, black is trying to make some noise. But here, as I mentioned, it is black's king that is dead in this position, not white. I mean, white is a rook down, but okay, he's threatening knight g5 or knight e5, just winning the game. It's just checkmate, actually, if he gets it. And okay, after rook e8, take, game over. So it's funny, right? I mean, this king in the center has so many pawns and pieces around it, is totally safe. And bishop takes c3 is also, let me see. Yeah, bishop takes c3 also not working because of where was my analysis here? 1 second, I will have to see this one. Actually, now that I see, I haven't completely, yeah, it's just rook d1, and those are hanging. That's why I didn't write it, just rook d1, and I forgot to mention it, but just winning a piece here. So okay, rook d8, queen a6. This is a key move, right? Defending the bishop. I mean, maybe, I mean, okay, if queen c7, white king is so safe, he can just take on c5 and such. But after this position, okay, take. Okay, white is a pawn up. Where is the problem? I mean, yeah, and this is also a somewhat incorrect move, bishop to b5. Bishop d5, e4 is just winning. Knight e5. Okay, and here, very, very strong move that was played by Aronian. Actually, the very best move in the position. He just played knight to d4. I mean, if take on e5, there are always going to be some problems with bishop take d2, bishop c3, and such. I mean, why to look at such? Well, it's actually not really working or giving black more than he should. But after this, it's over. Attacking the bishop, attacking e7, and e7 is really checkmate. Okay, rook d5, take on e7. And f4, this is just game over. I mean, bishop c6. Let's see if I haven't missed anything in the analysis. Nothing that was too dramatic or important. Okay, take. I mean, okay, there were many ways to finish the game, but okay, I think Ronen played in the most torturous way, or maybe best way. Honestly, I haven't analyzed this, but really, if you look at this game quite objectively, I think that just after castle, take on g6, take on b7. Okay, black never got back in the game. He was a pawn down, and his king was the one that was weaker. So, okay, I mean, rook h4 provided what it needed to do. I mean, very surprising move that won the game. I don't think rook h4 won the game, but somewhat got Nepomniachtchi off normal play. Okay, this was the first game to finish. Second one was a game between Karyakin and Svidler, two of the top Russian players, and okay, it was actually a very interesting game. Amazingly enough, Bashir Lagrave against Wesley So was exactly same variation, and some new stuff, and apparently everyone knows everyone else new stuff. This is always quite funny. The position transposed in different move order, but a position that was rarely played before. Okay, so let's see what we have there. So apparently everyone is like crazy about this a4. Like, I mean, I just have some games here that I copy pasted. I mean, I'm not gonna mention them, but I'm not gonna go over them. But like h6 was Bashir Lagrave against Carlsen in Paris this year in the Rapid and Blitz tournament. Actually, a game that Bashir Lagrave won with the white pieces. Let's see if I remember the game. Oh yeah, it was this one. So this was Bashir Lagrave against Carlsen. Knight e7, d4, knight g6. Okay, bishop b3 was Carlsen Nakamura. Everyone really has been. Also, by the way, Paris 2017. I believe it was the first leg of the Grand Prix, or whatever they call it, the Rapid Blitz one. And then we have, Kramnik Carlsen from Norway, Wesley So Karyakin, also from the Norway tournament, Carlsen Karyakin from the World Championship in New York 2016. Everyone is somehow crazy about this A4 in the Italian. Don't ask me why, I'm just telling you what they're crazy about, I think there are more interesting positions in chess. All right, but here it's interesting that bishop b3 wasn't really played that much. Bishop f1, there's a game of Nepomniachtchi against Rajabov from Geneva, a tournament that just finished, I believe, this month, or last month actually. We are already in August, but it's so fresh. This was Nepomniachtchi Rajabov, and another one was Kramnik Rajabov from Baku 2016. Bishop e3, not many games. I could actually find only one real game with rook e8, bishop c2, and knight h7. This was played in one of the rising stars. Okay. Sandro? was playing a line. Two of the top players in the world were playing on the same day a line that I could find only one or top game before that. Anyhow, b5, b4. Okay, you know, when I've looked at this position today, this is obviously, there are some lines in the Breyer variation. It's the classical way Lopez, and black is playing on move 9, knight to b8, knight c6 to b8, going to d7, and then bishop to b7. It's a line that had been played by many top players. Actually, it was incredibly popular, or mainly played by Carlsen, had many games with it, somewhere I would say 2011, 12, actually many games against Anand, but many other great players have played it. So this position and this idea really resembles, I mean, there are some lines that are almost identical. Yes, the knight is on g6, not on d7, but bishop on a7, but the structure and play, very, very logical. And this move c4. Yeah, well, that's kind of cool. You don't see it any day. Okay, this is a key position, and as I said when we started, I think it was quite easy to put the finger on the moments that the games went wrong. You know, in the Pomniachi, he castled, and after take on g6, takes on b7, he's just in trouble. This position is, of course, okay for black. I actually think this is a very, very, very interesting move. It's also super tricky idea. I mean, okay, maybe something like this is kind of nice for white, but black has this super cool move. I mean, not really easy to fight with such a threat of knight take g2, and man, this is like no. So knight h5 is really interesting move. I mean, if I remember correctly, this was some computer idea, but all right, you know, for us it's enough to figure that knight h5 is all right. Take on d4. Yeah, I think that here somewhat either Peter overestimated what he will get, or he overlooked some things. Okay, Karyakin took on b5, and his main idea is that, okay, after take, knight takes d4, b5 is hanging immediately. This is obviously, if black plays c6, it's quite pleasant for white. So I mean, it's probably somewhat worse here, but okay, needed to play. I guess needed to play this way, but okay, he went to something like this, and it's just not working. I mean, bishop f1 is simplest move, and in general, it's just not working. I mean, it doesn't even look really dangerous. Okay, white is gonna play b5, and you know, white has pretty much all these pieces. You know, the bishop on f1 is hugely important. Knight, rook. You know, when you see so many defenders around the king, it's not easy to attack. And I mean, very soon, white used one of the most important methods of defending. We see it a lot in King's Indian in some lines, that you're using the rook to defend the rank, and this is like ABC. You know, the rook is defending the third rank, attacking on the third rank. It's really, black has, I think, nothing here. I mean, I think black is kind of lost here. It's still complicated, but black is kind of lost. So yeah, knight h4. There were many moves here. Let me scroll down tiny the analysis I've made here. Yeah, here there was he played b5. I mean, there was just one funny line I wanted to show. I mean, okay, obviously it is far from being perfect, but it's a logical line. Okay, rook g3, queen d2. And now playing this bishop b5, I mean, no, okay, you know, it's just gonna cost black material. And the great point is that if rook e7, okay, if you want to pause it, I mean, I don't. It's like it's a stream, but I don't know if there's a way for you to pause it, and this would be a good moment to think here, because I think there's a super cool play here, which is take. Yeah, I'm not smart enough. Computer is smart enough. Take, and take. This is super awesome. And then something like that. If take here. Now this is really awesome. And if take like this, check. Here. Yeah, and so I don't know, just funny line, but I think rook g3 was very, very logical as well. But Karyakin played this entire game. He played it really simple. He didn't want to basically go for any real attack. Basically, now he's thinking that he's winning because of his best pawns, and he's somewhat correct. Okay, rook g3. I think rook e3 also logical, but yeah. Okay, and this is just over. I mean, there's some nice lines here, but okay, this is just really strong. Well, both players already have a few minutes on the clock, so okay, it's very nice play to play with few minutes, but not incredibly complicated. Yeah, if pawn take, I mean, it's quite incredible, right? I mean, you just want to go here, and I don't know, you know, those pawns are, that's it, right? Those pawns are, that's it. So yeah, so Svidler took with the knight, but yeah, not much to do here. And the pawns are too strong. Yeah, there were many ways to play and maybe play better, but Karyakin played the simplest, right? I mean, he believed that he's going to be able to win this position, and he didn't really need to, because Svidler just resigned after a7. So yeah, what was in this game? Okay, it was quite interesting, but I think that take on d4 and the idea of d3 and sacrificing the queenside pawns in order to take on e4 wasn't really paying any dividends for black. He just found himself quite lost there, or very close. Okay, the other decisive game was, okay, let me close this. Actually, I can upload it. Where can I upload it? I will upload it from here. Was the game of, yeah, Bashir Lagrave against Wesley So. Let me open it here. Actually, this is the game that I analyzed the least one, because the opening, well, it also finished the last, but look at the position that we got here. A4 right here, right? I mean, they're crazy about A4. Like, I don't know, you know, when by day I mean, I don't know, top 10 players in the world, top 20, they're like, A4 is like, that's their desire, to get this Italian and play A4. So many recent game in this line, so many. Yeah, so look at that. What did we get here? Look, wait. Time out. What did we get here? We got here Karyakin game, right? B5, B4. This is Karyakin's Vidler game. Amazing. Bishop D7, A5. Okay. Now, you know, first of all, any loss by Wesley So is something to pay attention to, because, well, he's not losing many games, and by not losing many games, I'm like, that's an understatement. But yeah, this wasn't a very pretty game. Actually, if I remember correctly, he lost the first round in Vacant Zeik, but actually this year, I believe, quite against Giri. So I don't know, maybe, and he lost the first round against Mamederov in Gashimov Memorial, right? If I remember correctly. I haven't thought about it before the broadcast, but, well, if I don't know, if my 2 cents advice to who was number 2 player in the world for the last few months, Now I think he's number 3 or 4 in the rating. Wesley, be careful on round number 1, right? I mean, 3 last losses I remember were first round. All right. C6. You know, I don't like this move so much. I mean, probably it's alright, but I don't know. Like, somehow it feels like I don't want to play this move. What do I want to play? Maybe Queen e7 and bring the rook. Maybe Rook e7. Okay, let me put it this. I'm not certain what I want to play, but I'm pretty certain that c6 I don't like so much. Maybe Queen e7. And I think that Bashir Lagrav went immediately there. Take. Okay, if knight take, he would take and go knight c4. I mean, this square. And now another moment. I mean, after the exchanges of the queen, I'm quite certain black is worse. Maybe queen c7 was possible with such an idea. I mean, okay, this can be tricky. I mean, so white will have to move his queen at some point. Oh, this is not completely ridiculous idea. But in general, I prefer white here. What can I do and say? Just the d6 square and the b6 square. Yeah, you know, I was even entertaining this idea, which apparently is not so stupid. I mean, computer didn't think it was so bizarre. But okay, he took, played rook e6. Okay, take is of course impossible. So this was, okay, it was quite a positional play, and as I said, we will look at that the list. It's clear that white is the only one playing. I don't know how much he has. I thought at some point he had more than maybe he did. Okay, maybe rook d8, but let's go to this position, which apparently is alright for black. I mean, I thought white could at some point play better. I mean, black put the pawns on right colors, he has the right bishop. The pair of bishops are long to see how the position gets open here. Actually, this was, I think, Wesley Shaw's mistake in this game. That there was one specific move I didn't like so much. Yeah, and it is this one. You know, I think black g5 would be a move that I would think very logically about. I mean, okay, white would like at some point to play f4. If he can, maybe h4, let's say if white can have a lot of time, whatever he wants, h4, h5, g3, f4, maybe some stuff like that. I mean, okay, it's a long way to really see something, but I think g5 fighting against f4 is logical. And so played f5, which I don't like so much. I mean, because it really plays into white idea, long-term idea, to open the position for his bishops, right? So f4 is so logical, so automatic to play, and maybe not take, because okay, the knight capture, and okay, this it doesn't want to allow, I believe. Maybe also bishop take, but probably knight take. Yeah, but and sorry, and if take, this is just advantage for white. So I mean, I'm very surprised by allowing this opening of the game. It's not critical, but okay, if before, let's take it just few moves ago, okay, it seemed like the position is closed. It seems very far from white to be able to break and do anything, and black is quite alright. Okay, one thing is quite clear, the position is not closed anymore, and when you have those two, well, you like the position to be open. Okay, both players, okay, they're close to the time control, and I don't know why Wesley Shaw played king d8 and not go back. I mean, he's worse here, but the game was really over after king d8. King f6 needs to be played, and white's white's better, of course, but the game was just over. Okay, there was no point to, I guess, to really lose the game on the spot. I mean, I'm trying to see the analysis. Yeah, I mean, this was some, but okay, it feels like it's gonna be losing. I mean, it feels like it's gonna be losing. The game, okay, the game finished so fast. It's actually crazy. Knight takes b3. Resign. Seriously. I mean, he wants to take. He wants to go. I mean, if something like knight c6, okay, check. And that's it. So, very simple thing. You know, I don't know. It's number 2 player in the world. It doesn't need any chess advice for me. But you don't open the position when your opponent has those 2 babies, right? I mean, this was just... It felt so wrong. I mean, when I've seen it live also, it just felt wrong, and yeah. All right, well, at least we had one other decisive game. So 3 decisive games, and okay, you know, for Aronian will be interesting. If he's in the shape that he was in other tournaments, it can be really, really, really interesting. And for Carlsen, oh man, you know, it's like 28-20. This is really among humans, right? I mean, the 28, 70, 80, 90, that was, well, pretty much not out of this world. But, I mean, basically, I don't know. We'll see if we will have a new rating number 1 in the world after this tournament. This is what I mainly want to see. All right, 3 decisive games, many more interesting games there. Hope you enjoy that. And, all right, well, keep watching, and we'll see you on another recap. Bye, everyone.